welcome to Wholesome Roots. Today is the day that I harvest my garlic. It was planted in the late fall, early winter. I think I was actually a little more into the winter than the fall, but typically in the fall is when you plant your garlic here in Georgia. And as you can see, it has grown large and the leaves have started to die back on the bottom. That's how we tell that it's ready. The hardneck varieties, the leaves die back, and then on the soft neck varieties they tend to fall over. And I know for a fact that a good number of the ones on this row are soft neck and they have fallen over. So I'm gonna go ahead and loosen the soil with my pitchfork and make it easy for the bulbs to come out without breaking. All right, Liam, you ready to garden? So what I did when I planted them is I wrote down their names and how many cloves of each I was planting. But then I marked according to rows. So this row 1 had 2 of the AR. So I can come back and look, Amish Raccombole. So I know I've only got 2 of those plants, 17 of those, 22, and so on and so on. So I'm gonna go over my beds and see which ones look like they have made it and which ones have not, and try to line them up correctly just in case I have one that becomes my favorite. I want to make sure that I either order it again or save some of it to reseed. That?
Yeah.
Alright, let's garden. So one thing I'm feeling really glad that I did now is I put tags. Before I started a new species or variety of garlic, I would put a tag, and even though the names have worn off, the tags got completely buried under the mulch hay that I put on the garden and under the weeds and such. But even still, it tells me where the break was. So I was able to determine exactly how many of each one made it through to the harvest. So I'm pretty excited about that. So I know exactly which ones are which, and I didn't get anything mixed up this year. So keeping good records is really important, writing things down and marking in the garden as well. Alright, you might be wondering what this pencil in my ear is. Is it another cool hipster fashion statement? No. Am I trying to be like my dad? Maybe, but that's not the reason why I have it. It is so that I can write down on the cardboard as I pull each variety. I can write down the quantity and the name right here on the cardboard, right where I have them laid out. So this will help me keep track of them while they dry. I'm gonna lay them here covered in soil for about 2 days to get a little bit dried off in the sun, and then I'm gonna hang them for about 2 weeks to cure. All right, so after loosening the soil with the pitchfork, I'm gonna grab close to the ground and firmly but gently, slowly pull up to remove the bulb from the ground. So these two are my first variety. So I'm gonna go ahead and get their tag and give them a good shake, leaving all my good composted soil in the garden where it belongs. Shake them off as good as I can. And then I'm going to lay them down and mark them so that this cardboard can be moved. If it starts to rain, I can get them out of the way. And I'm gonna go ahead and do that for the rest of these plants.
There was a time when I was lonely. I was trying hard to get by, taking day by day. But baby, then you came along. I know I never felt that strong. Nothing's gonna hold us down. Yeah, we are taking off the ground now. Stay with me, we're aiming for the sky. Anywhere, we'll get there by and by. Stay with me, we're aiming for the sky. Anywhere, we'll get there by and by. My soul wanted healing, consolation. You and me were in the moment we've been waiting for. Come summer, winter, fall, or spring, no matter what the future brings, nothing's gonna hold us down, 'cause we are taking off the ground now. Stay with me, we're aiming for the sky. Anywhere, we'll get there by.
It's funny how sometimes the tops look gigantic and the bottoms aren't that big. I guess these are hardneck variety because they have scapes on them. Yeah. So the ones with scapes have a much fatter stem because it's the hardneck variety. And they didn't get as big as the other ones that I pulled. It's interesting. So both of these varieties are hardneck. These are 2 different varieties, but they look about the same, don't they? It's a good thing I'm organizing them so that I'm keeping good track of which ones are which. Ryan just asked me a perfect question. He was asking how long these would last and if we'd be able to use them to plant our next garden. Absolutely. If cured properly, they can last a long time. I have some garlic that was pulled from last spring that I still have, that's fresh as brand new and doing really good. There are some things that you want to look for as you're pulling that are signs that the bulb itself may not last as long as you expect it to. This one right here is a prime example of one that's probably not going to keep long. I'm going to use this one for our eating purposes right away. And if you look, the bulb is breaking away from itself. It's got cracks down the outer skin and in the interior part. When I went to pull this one out, the top actually just slid right off. So this allows moisture, bugs, soil to all get trapped inside of what you're going to use as your outer exterior curing. So this skin here is kind of decaying. It's not going to dry well. So it's not going to end up with a nice paper covering to keep it to store for a long time. You want the good paper covering for long-term storage. And there we have it. Beautiful garlic harvest. Spread out and ready to dry in the sun for a couple of days. And I will come in and kind of shift them around each morning and make sure that they're not too overlapped. If I had more cardboard, I would have spread them out even more. But this stage is mainly to dry the dirt off and to get them beginning and drying out. And then I will be hanging them to dry the rest of the way. It's funny, you notice this one is the one that was messed up. And look at the flies are all over it. So that just goes to show you it's gonna attract insects and stuff. So that one's going in the house now and getting washed up and made for dinner. Well, there you have it. That's how you harvest garlic and set it out for curing. Thank you guys for watching. You know the drill. We'll see you next time on Wholesome Roots.